This video serves as a basic overview of the mounts in Kingdom 80s, not as an in-depth analysis. This information was collected in version 1.0 of the game, and as such is subject to change and could become inaccurate or outdated as the game receives updates and changes in future versions. Hey guys, today I'm going to be quickly covering the 10 different mounts currently available in Kingdom 80s. I'll be showing you where to find them, how to unlock them, and give a brief example of their different abilities. In Chapter 1, there are 4 different mounts available. Of course, there is the default bike that you start out with. Its speed is not very impressive, but it holds a constant speed regardless if you're in your camp or out in the forest. As with all the mounts, it has a sprint ability. If you don't know what button activates your sprint, just pause the game and go to the controls menu. Simple as that. The sprint doesn't last for very long, but the nice thing about Kingdom 80s is that for 9 out of the 10 mounts, you can simply stand still anywhere on the map and replenish your stamina in just a second or two. Now, you can do a very short wheelie with the default bike by double tapping your sprint key. The wheelie has no functional use as far as I could tell during my testing, but it's pretty fun to do. And who knows, maybe they'll add in the ability to push back the greed with it in a future update. Alright, the second mount available is the Wheelie Bike. This bike can be found at a cabin in the woods with a Friday the 13th visual theme, as seen by the Jason hockey mask on the door. This bike is an all-around upgrade over the default bike with more stamina and slightly faster sprint speed. The main feature of this bike is that it has a wheelie bar on the back tire that allows you to hold a wheelie for a very long amount of time. But just like with the default bike, there is no functional use of the wheelie that I've discovered so far. It seems to just purely be for fun. The third mount is what I call the 2-speed bike. This can be found out in the forest at a bus stop. The feature of the 2-speed bike is that you can double tap your sprint key to switch between 2 gears. One of the gears is for when you are in the forest or around trees. The other is for anywhere that there are no trees. If you are using the correct gear for the area that you're in, you will get a significant movement speed increase. But if you're in the wrong gear, you will get a significant reduction in movement speed. An easy way to know if you're using the correct gear is that you will see white lines trailing behind your character when you are sprinting. If you don't see the white trail lines behind you, that means you are in the wrong gear and should switch in order to get the movement speed boost. Now, this requires you to be shifting gears as you travel in and out of the forest, but if you do it properly, you can get around the map very quickly. The fourth mount is the ET bike. This can be found out in the forest at a small alien spaceship. In order to unlock it, you need to wait until there is a full moon at night. Otherwise, you won't have the option to purchase it. The easiest way to do this is simply to unlock it during a blood moon, because those are always guaranteed to be full moons. Typically, the following day or two after a blood moon will also be full moons as well. The primary feature of this bike is that it allows you to double tap the sprint key in order to levitate the bike in the air for a short while. This allows you to jump over entire groups of enemies, as well as safely jump over portals as you explore the map. In Chapter 2, there are 2 more mounts to be unlocked. As you explore the neighborhood, you will eventually come across a large wooden half-pipe. This is where you will find the skateboard. The main feature of the skateboard is that instead of holding the sprint key, you need to tap it each time you want to kick off and speed up. If you time the kicks right, you can coast across the ground very quickly for long distances without using much stamina. The only real downside is that it can sometimes take a bit of time to get going fast. The other mount in Chapter 2 is the truck. You can find the truck inside of a very large gift box at a birthday party that is outside one of the houses in the neighborhood. This one can take a bit of time and patience to unlock. In order to unlock it, you need to hire at least 2 or 3 kids without purchasing any bows or hammers for them. Then you need to make sure that the birthday party area is safely within your walls. Then you need to wait for those kids to make their way over to the birthday party. Once there are a few kids at the birthday party, you can then purchase it to unlock the truck. I find it easiest to unlock by hiring up to 6 or 7 kids without any bows or hammers to make sure there was a higher chance of them going to the birthday party instead of doing chores. Once you have the truck, you can double tap the sprint button to do a ramming attack that can be used to push back large waves of greed. This is a great mount for defending against blood moons, although the downside is that its stamina and speed isn't all that great. In Chapter 3, you'll find 2 more mounts as well. One of my favorite mounts is the Hoverboard from Back to the Future. You can find this at a building called Shark Teeth. The Hoverboard is extremely similar to the Skateboard. I haven't really noticed too much of a difference between the two, but as far as I can tell, it seems like the Hoverboard gets up to top speed slightly faster than the Skateboard and can glide for a bit longer, but has slightly less stamina. The other mount in Chapter 3 is the Tricycle. This can be purchased at an unmarked 1-story building on the opposite side of the map of the Hoverboard. When you purchase it, a military helicopter will fly in and drop off the Tricycle for you. The main feature of the Tricycle is that you can double tap sprint to fire a burst of bullets that can slightly damage the greed. The downside to the Tricycle is that it's quite slow and its stamina is pretty darn bad. It's primarily used for defense during nightly attacks, so you can soften up the enemy waves a little bit. In Chapter 4, you will find the final 2 mounts. If you head outside the mall and past the parking lot, you'll see the Back to the Future Delorean appear out of thin air. Øystein the dog will be in the car barking at you. In order to get Øystein out of the car, you need to find and collect a dog bone on the opposite side of the map. Once you give the bone to Øystein, he'll hop out of the Delorean, allowing you to purchase it. The Delorean is a pretty decent mount. It's got good speed, decent stamina, and if you double tap sprint, it leaves a burning trail of fire behind it for a few seconds. The fire trail can be pretty useful if you have a bunch of greed chasing after you. Just make sure that they aren't too far behind, or else the fire will disappear before they reach it because it only lasts for a few seconds. Now the final, and arguably the best mount in the game, can be found at a unique tree near the beach. The tree can easily be identified because it has an umbrella lying under it as well as a heart dangling from one of its branches. You'll need to wait until there is a rainbow in the sky in order to purchase the mount from the tree. Once you do, you'll see a rainbow-colored pony appear. The pony is an all-around great mount. It's quick, has good stamina, and most of all, it has 2 special abilities. If you double tap sprint, it will sprint forward at an incredibly quick speed, leaving a rainbow trail behind you. This special sprint ability lasts for a really long time and allows you to get away from greed very quickly. The other special ability is that every time it eats grass, there is a small chance that it will poop out 3 coins, just like the unicorn in Kingdom 2 Crowns. Gotta get that sweet butt money, baby. The only downside is that it needs grass in order to replenish its stamina. Although that's not really much of a problem in this game because grass is pretty much everywhere, and it can also eat the purple grass that is produced by the greed. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for this video. And with that guys, I will see you fine folks